why should I join this hackathon? I'm not a senior student yet. I hardly, know my way. I hardly know how to find my classroom.
Relax. It's not just about participation. It's something you gain from it to strengthen your career. The first step in solving any problem is to identify that there is one.
It makes me to go, and I know that we got our butts kicked.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Hackathon Insider, podcast episode of Seneca Hackathon. My name is Dalen Nguyen and I'm your host for today's podcast. In the previous episode, we have a pleasant discussion with Yancy Liu, who was a participant for 2 years in Hackathon. And last year, she became a grand winner in Hackathon. This year, she became a part of organizer to Hackathon. But today's episode, we have the chair of Seneca Hackathon Project Initiative to come and join us and discuss about the topic of Hackathon in 2024. And I would like to take this opportunity to provide our audience with a brief introduction of our honorable guest. So he has over 30 years of career span as a software development executive, a consultant, a BM, a certified trainer, as well as a professor with more than 25,000 students, visionary leadership skill and experiences in advanced information technology. As part of his portfolio, his achievement also successfully lead more than 1,000 projects worldwide. Everyone, join me and welcome the chair and the driving force behind Seneca Hackathon, Professor Mark Buchner.
Thank you, Dale.
It is an honor to have you here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, the pleasure is all mine. To start our discussion, we always ask our guests to define what is a hackathon in their definition. So can you enlighten us what hackathon is in your own term?
Well, I guess there's two parts to the word. One is the hacking and the other is the thon, right? So when I think of a hackathon, the last part of the word reminds me of a marathon or some kind of intense competition that's very draining and really takes a lot out of you. And so it is an intense kind of competition. But as opposed to a physical activity, it consists of, let's call it hacking. Now, hacking is maybe is a word, sometimes it might sound nefarious, like you're doing something bad, but hacking is also a clever word to come up with solutions that maybe are prototypical or have shortcuts, etc. to them. So it's really, what it winds up being is it's a solution contest, and it's quite a marathon in terms of doing it. So there's an intense activity for a period, usually of a day or two.
Right, so it's so interesting that it's probably a really great definition about hackathon so far. But can you tell me what is so unique about a hackathon project compared to other projects that you have managed so far in your career?
Well, the hackathon is, to me, is an experiential learning opportunity for the participants that are there. What sort of struck me about it is that when you're teaching the classes, like let's say I'm teaching systems analysis and design, or I'm teaching project management, there's a lot of theory and things like that go into it, and the students, it's a little hard to really understand how it applies in an everyday basis. These things come with experience. But when we did the hackathons, what impressed me so much was that the students had exhibited all these things that we talked about actually in a microcosm. So things that we tried to teach them over the course of months and months or semesters and semesters, all of a sudden in the course of a weekend, they all came together, and there are spectacular results that came of it.
Right. So let's dig deeper into hackathon. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the 5th year of a Seneca Hackathon project. And each year, we tend to have a tendency to set the topic differently, to addressing and tackling the social concern Canadian is facing, right? And to recall it, the first hackathon was during the COVID-19 pandemic, right? Related to business response, following by digital health, sustainability, and the last year topic was smart city. It came to my attention that each year project kind of attracts so much attention from the public, especially with high expectation, high participation, as well as the support from private sector and business corporation, right? So tell me, what about this year topic? what is it about and what is the reason behind this specific topic?
Okay. So one of the things that's important to me, actually, before we worked with the Seneca Hackathon, I have worked with a group called Hackerness, where we did all kinds of cause hackathons, ranging from ocean sustainability to LGBT rights to having legal representation, et cetera. So we always focused on what I call cause hackathons. And what I noticed with the cause hackathon is that people were able to deeply connect with the issue. So it wasn't just a commercial issue, somebody trying to figure out a more efficient business process or making more money. It was something that deeply connected to the people and to society. And once a student or once a participant connects to the cause, then at the end of this whole thing, they realize that everybody individually can help make the world a better place, right? So it's this elucidation of the fact that, hey, you know, when you really connect to a cause, when you're really committed, dedicated, the best of human nature comes out in you, and innovations are possible, and the experience is fantastic. So we want to always make sure that we have something that is a cause. Now, every year we do tend to have a bit of a committee that goes through, okay, what are the causes this year that maybe would be pertinent? And I think actually the housing hackathon was a very easy selection in a way, maybe a little too easy, because housing seems to be the number one, number two, number three, number four, number five topic of conversation in Canada, in Toronto, and maybe even globally. So it was a topic. And then when you look at these topics such as housing, you always have different stakeholder groups. And the fact that there's such a number of students, especially international students, that are directly affected by the housing crisis, we felt this was really a no-brainer.
So with the housing as a topic for Hackathon this year, what outcome do you expect to achieve from this year hackathon?
So there's outcomes from, it depends, you know, who you are. If you're the student that's participating in the hackathon versus the industry at large.
Yeah.
But from a student, the outcome that we would expect is they gain a really valuable experience that they can proudly put on their resumes, that will get their resume noticed. Also that the experiences that they have throughout the hackathon, because it's a microcosm for so much that you learn, those experiences will give them things that they can talk about in their job interviews. So if you think about it, your resume starts to look better, you get called in for the interview, and then they ask you these, you know, soft skill questions about, you know, how you manage challenges and how you overcame adversity. And all of a sudden, this hackathon provides you with this kind of ammunition. And of course, we also have micro credentials that go with it. So the students really gain a lot out of it. What else happens? Well, the industry partners that work with us, they see two main things. One is they see talent identification. So everybody is short of skills, everybody's looking for resources. So when they go and they survey the area and see the kind of solutions, people speaking up, and they go and interview the teams, they can identify, you know, who knows what and who might fit into their organization. And the other thing is innovation itself. Sometimes businesses don't have the budget or don't have the money or don't really have the time to always try out new technologies and new innovations, such as somebody talks about the blockchain or the machine learning or the AI or the social engineering. And this provides them with a way to actually test these out without a lot of overhead and without a lot of cost. So it's a good way of testing out or doing a proof of concept or proof of technology of some new innovation. If the innovation sticks, if the people, you know, wind up having the skills that you need and the innovation is one that is going to help your business, then what can happen is the industry partner gets together with the school and we come up with applied research proposals that can go to the government, to NSERC or to OCI that funds these and actually provides avenues for these ideas to make their way into business. Or if students actually feel more like an entrepreneurial urge, which is, you know, very, very worthwhile, because if you ever really want to make good money and have a nice quality of life, the entrepreneurial path is worth pursuing. So if you do feel that, then there's a way actually where there's lots of infrastructure here to help you explore that through things like Helix. So these are the outcomes that we look for.
Right, that's so insightful. And to get out of it, it sounds like it's not just about participation. It's something you gain from it to strengthen your career, your portfolio, right?
Right.
Now let's talk about housing crisis issue. Many people tend to believe that housing crisis is all about the insufficient number of housing available in the market. It's the supply and demand problem. So what do you think is the solution to the housing crisis? Do you agree that if we build more house, doesn't that simply solve the housing crisis Canada is facing right now?
Yeah, well, as all the sort of topics that we've had over a while, like the COVID pandemic or sustainability or ocean sustainability or, treat Alzheimer's disease, et cetera, these kinds of themes that we've had, these causes, none of them are really as simple as this is how to fix it. I know that maybe from the government's perspective, they say, vote for me and it will be fixed. It's really very easy. All we have to do is give you this money. But the problems are really much more complex than that. It is, I think, very good for the students to get involved in the problems, to understand them deeper. Because there is a feeling of hopelessness that you have sometimes when you look at some of the problems that society is up against with the global warming and sustainability issues and housing crisis. And it can lead you to, feel sort of helpless that this problem is too big. Like there's nothing I can do. There's no change that I can make. And maybe if I vote for this person or if I buy this product, it will all go away. But what happens is that the participants get a lot more insight into the problem. And then they find out that it's not one single problem, but there are many facets to it. And they can break it down. That's why we have challenge sets. Break it down and understand further and further. And then it becomes not that there's one big problem that I can solve, but that when I look at the details of the problems, there are many little things where you, me, you, everyone can actually understand it and make a difference. And I think the message that students often get is that together and individually, we can make for a better future. And it's not just, and it's much better than feeling sort of hopeless and feeling like we just need to leave it up to the politicians that are going to
that's so true, right?
That are going to disappoint us anyways, right? And so I really like the decomposition of the problem and having people analyze it deeply and develop a deep understanding of the issues and then also what can be done to solve them.
So it is so interesting that this hot issue or the concern of Canadian is going to be addressed in Hackathon this year. And how do you envision the solution being developed during this Hackathon competition gonna make a direct impact to the real world problem?
Well, I would say that it's probably not feasible that the students will come up with a solution that directly gets implemented and solves the housing problem overnight. But I am quite convinced that businesses and people, stakeholders that are involved, will be able to use the event to identify talent, that there will be skills, developed skills that use products and use techniques and use methodologies that help to overcome these problems. And I'm also convinced that there will be innovations that will be tabled that could be commercialized or could make a difference in the future. So I'm convinced of those things. Will the hackathon in and of itself? No. But does it significantly raise the awareness? Does it enable the participants to feel that they will be able to contribute and make a difference? Yes. Will innovations come from it? Yes.
Right. So can you explain a bit more into how important it is for hackathon to have participants from diverse backgrounds to address the issue rather than having a specific field, for example, a housing sector, just to address the issue alone?
Right. So I believe really strongly in the sort of aspect of diversity in the teams. And this comes from a lot of experience too with many hackathons that I've helped organize or participate in or judge. And the idea there is that a hackathon team that is going to compete has to be diverse. When I say diverse, I mean there has to be diverse skills in that team. You cannot have an excellent or a winning hackathon team that consists of 5 project managers or 5 database developers or 5 engineers or 5 programmers or 5 user interface experts. The best teams have a diverse set of skills that all contribute to solving the problem. So for instance, one person is usually good with design, with the user interface design, graphic design, etc. One person is typically good with understanding the business problem and really being able to listen and break it down. One person is typically good with understanding data and being able to structure tables or databases, etc., to represent things. Maybe somebody's really good at coding. Maybe there's a front end and the back end. Maybe somebody's really good at project management. But the best teams have a diverse set of skills in it. There's just absolutely no question in my mind.
So it's a great idea. If you want to form a team and compete in a hackathon, you should pick your member wisely.
Right.
Right.
It might not necessarily be best for you to pick 5 classmates.
Right.
Because maybe you all have the same kind of thing that you're learning.
Skill, right.
It's having different perspectives and different skills come to the table, right? And then there's also the notion of everybody learning from everybody else in the team too.
That's
so
true.
that there's some, let's say, cross-pollination of the different skills that happen.
So through this hackathon competition in this year, is there any specific opportunity or untapping area of housing sector that you are hoping to uncover or explore?
Okay, so we wanted to make sure that, yes, there are some things that are computer related or programming related, but also some that are, let's say, social engineering related, et cetera. So it's not just one type of thing. That's why we break the hackathon into challenge sets, so people can find something that they really relate to or identify with. For instance, maybe one set of ways to tackle it would be through fintech or financial technology, and that would be ways of looking at fractional ownership or clever ways of financing or providing insurance, etc., that might be enabled with blockchain and types of technology like that. On the other hand, other things involve maybe looking at the data and the demographics to better understand the problem, better understand population distribution, population densities, etc., to see maybe some of the housing problems can be solved by increasing density, by looking and say, oh, maybe there's a lot of single family residents that are maybe occupied by just a single person, where maybe it'd be nice to have other ways of having billets or students, etc., that are sharing the facilities. So this is more a matter of social engineering as opposed to having an app or a blockchain or a machine learning or artificial intelligence. There's lots of opportunity for analyzing data, so we're hoping to get good data on transportation patterns, housing patterns, etc. And this all belongs to the big data family of things. So there's many different challenge sets, and thus, that also is another way of saying that there's not just one problem, but there's many ways to address the problem.
Right. So with all the facts you have provided, it seems to me that Seneca Hackathon in this year is going to make a significant impact on the solution in dealing with housing crisis in Canada. And can you go into deeper, is there any specific measurement on the impact that the project come up with or the participant come up with?
Is there a specific measurement? Well, I think we like to measure it in terms of how many people are attending, how many groups are formed, how many solutions are developed, how good they are, maybe subjectively speaking or quantitatively speaking. But one measurement that we like to have is how many of the ideas actually go on. One of the sort of criticisms of a hackathon might be that after all the energy is put into the event and after everybody claps and the prizes are handed out, everybody just goes about their merry way and gets back to their job.
Right, yeah.
But the real thing about this, if we're really going to make a difference, is not just to leave it there at the end, but to take those initiatives and figure out how to actually have those incorporated in solutions to our everyday problems. At a minimum level, what happens is that the raised awareness in all of the students, their ability to develop methodologies and techniques and tools to help them deal with it. In a small way, every one of the students that is involved with this will be able to take that knowledge that they've gained and apply it, in their next jobs or in their role in life, in some ways to make the world a better place. So we can't just rely on somebody else to solve this housing problem. We all have a part to play. And if we can identify what those things are that we can do, given whatever God has given us or given you or given anyone, if we can identify what we can do to make the world a better place, then it will definitely be a better place.
Right. And talking about the number you mentioned earlier, I got information from registration team that they saw or they experienced a spike of number increasing in registration this year. And we expect a high and we expect a big increase in percentage of participation compared to last year. So how does this number mean to you and to the housing crisis?
Okay, so I think that the topic really speaks to many people, so we should be getting, very good numbers. And we also have partner schools and other people, other groups that work with us. But to me, the main thing is that a hackathon participation should be really voluntarily. Like, you're doing it because you really want to, or because you have a passion for it. Everybody's kind of busy. But what I feel is that when I go and I talk to somebody and say, why weren't you at the hackathon? Or did you hear about the hackathon? So, no, I didn't hear about it. I wish I would have gone for sure. I just didn't know.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is the part that we're working on this year, to make sure that you can come, or it doesn't matter. It's your choice. But we want to make sure that more people know about it, so that there's not a wasted opportunity that is there. And also a thing that I believe strongly in, because I've been to a lot of hackathons now. Usually if you look at the winners of the hackathons, it might be discouraging for junior students to say, why should I join this hackathon? I'm not a senior student yet. I hardly, know my way. I hardly know how to find my classroom at school.
To join it, yeah.
I'm reluctant. I'm a little bit shy. And I say, you should exactly join. Now, maybe you're not going to win on that first time, or maybe you're even going to get smoked. But I will tell you that of the winning teams that we've always seen, there's always been somebody that says, thank you for convincing me to go. And I know that we got our butts kicked, but I was so motivated. I now know what to do. I now understand how to do it better. I now know how to apply the right principles and methodologies, and I'm so motivated to win this, just like it was a marathon or some other athletic event. So it's the same kind of motivation that they have when they see it and when they get it. And so I think really we want to be inclusive enough to make sure that no matter what program you're in, no matter what level of experience that you had, that you come out and you give it a shot and you'll learn. And this might be for you. And I know of many winners that this was their first hackathon experience and they went and they just walked away with the prize.
Right. So it's more about inclusive to the project itself. So through our discussion today, I think we at least can agree on the fact that the crisis issue will not be solved by itself, nor it will be solved by a solution come from an individual, right? So we have to have everyone come together and solve it as a collective problem. And from what you discussed throughout this podcast, I kind of get the idea that the first step in solving any problem is to identify that there is one. And currently, I'm sure we're having this problem in Canada. We have it, everyone know it, but what do we do to make the change to it? Yeah, so this is why, fundamentally the things that I'd like to teach is, the systems analysis and design. So that's really about taking a problem and looking at it and analyzing it and getting to the root causes. And when you do that kind of work, you find out that a big problem like housing has many different components to it. Right. It also has many different stakeholders that are involved. So it's not always just a matter of student housing or low-cost housing. There are many elements to it. It could involve, the operations of a builder to be more productive or to remove red tape, et cetera. So there's many aspects to the problem. So I like it because it's an excellent area by which students can apply the kinds of things, systems analysis and design and design thinking and project management, and the kinds of things that are taught at the colleges and universities that are really problem solving kind of skills, right? And I think no matter what happens in the future, no matter what programming language or no matter what's trendy or not trendy, there's always going to be problems. And so there's always going to be a demand for people that know how to analyze them and to solve them. Indeed, it is. As we come close to our discussion, is there any message you want to share with the audience addressing the social concern right now? and subsequently to inspire everyone to come together and solve this housing equation all together?
Well, we love to have these cause hackathons, and so this will be, I think, my 10th hackathon that I'm working on. But one of the things that really makes me come back and makes me want to do it over and over is the fact that students, after they attend it, come up to me or thank me or tell me that this was, a really, really important, maybe life-changing kind of event for them. And
Eye-opener even.
And it was, and this to me is very rewarding when people really come and genuinely thank you because of the opportunity this gave them. And it allowed them to learn more about themselves and what they're capable of, and allowed them to view the future in a more positive way. So to me, this is what keeps me coming back. There's never going to be a shortage of problems. Maybe we solve the housing problem, but then certainly there'll be the next one. Like we have even bigger problems than that, such as global warming and sustainability and things like that, and population decline. So there's so many problems, right?
There's going to be more problems in the upcoming year anyway.
Well, we'd really like to see you come to our housing hackathon this year. I'm sure you're going to find it a transformative kind of experience, one that you're going to really experience. You're going to do what we call experiential learning. You're going to learn, but you're not even going to, you think you're having fun, but in fact you're doing profound learning on some very important skills and methodologies and tools and techniques and teamwork and socializing. Everything all comes together in these hackathons, and you'll just find it a grand experience. We go out of our ways to make it fun. So if you're not having fun doing this, then there's something wrong. So also at the same time that you're doing all this fantastic learning and gaining and networking and whatnot, you're having fun. So I really, really look forward to seeing you there. And I think, it's not really I like to say about the hackathon that it's by students for students. So there's very little sort of faculty involvement in this, and you're going to see that, there might be myself and a few others. And then, of course, we do have lots of business partners involved. But it's really an opportunity for students to experience things as organizers, participants, etc. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Okay, everyone. As we find ourselves enriched and inspired, today's podcast episode come to an end. It is incredibly generous of our guests to join us today and to share insight into Seneca Hackathon 2024. I would like to extend a heartfelt appreciation to Mark Buchner for his sincere contribution to addressing social concern and global challenges. Mark, thank you so much for your commitment into making a positive change in the community.
Thank you, Dylan. You're a wonderful host. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And lastly, I would like to thank our audience for staying with us till the end of our podcast. And I hope to see you in the next episode of Hackathon Insider.